Mate, how good is it having rugby league back every week?
Dan, there's no games this weekend.
Ah!
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Rugby League Outlaws, brought to you by our great friends at Top Sports, Zero Fucks Clothing, and onelittlefootyfan.com.au. Don't forget to check everyone out. Dan, some rugby league. I know we're going to miss a weekend, but we've got rugby league.
1 week for several months of football. I'll take it every time.
Take it.
It's been a big week. We were just going to come in, do our top four and get out of here real quick, but the news just keeps coming thick and fast.
This is my favourite time now. It's like the lead up to the season. You're at the end of the pre-season. Oh, I'm excited.
Yeah, me too. Look, and full disclosure, we're breaking, the fourth wall, but the Sharks game hasn't happened yet, so we won't be reviewing it, but needless to say that I'm very happy with the result, and Nico Hines was clearly man of the match.
Yeah, and Dale Finucane hammered someone.
Yes.
Yeah, now, just quickly on that as well, we know that the Sharks game was moved to 6 o'clock to accompany the Gold Coast Titans versus the New Zealand Warriors. Two cracking games of footy on a Monday night, though, if you had nothing to do. Yeah,
absolutely. And as usual, I've got nothing to do, so I'm okay. Now, I watched first half on the train. I was going to go to the game. It's about 98% Arctic blizzard weather anyway, so... But what are you going to do?
What are you going to do?
We're going to move on with our lives, and we're going to talk about the old enemy, mate, the St George Illawarra Dragons. The Charity Shield winners for the first time in a decade.
Yeah, fantastic. Look, is it the time for teams to break a decade? I mean, the Dragons have won it for the first time. Will the Tigers, mate?
No, they won't.
No, they won't. They won't make the top 8 there. Fantastic performance from the Dragons. One player that you and I love throwing shade, Aaron Woods was fantastic.
Yeah, look, he's one of the best forwards on the park. Saturday night wasn't a great night for me and my agendas, but they'll come good. A couple of weeks
George
from now.
Burgess back in rugby league after retiring with a hip injury.
Came on and within 20 seconds was sin bin, so the Bird Eye are back.
Fantastic. Josh Maguire was out there as well, and then we won't see him again for about another 6 weeks.
Yep, fair enough.
But yeah, look, the Dragons, they look good. They've got some really good youngsters out there.
They've got some good youngsters that we're going to discuss in a minute too, because I have a guest.
You have a guest?
A special guest.
Another guest.
Another guest.
We love guests.
We're just keeping it rolling, but just parking that for 1 second.
Yeah, we will park it.
Yeah, look, Amone and Sloan, they're the future of that club.
Yeah, Zach Lomax as well. He's absolutely unbelievable.
That try assist was pretty good.
Yeah, and for the Rabbits, look, they're going through that transition.
Oh, they're going to finish last. They were disgusting. Relegate them.
Yeah, look, they're going through the transition period. No Adam Reynolds. What are they going to do? Obviously, Blake Taff is at fullback at the moment until Latrell can play.
He actually looked really good.
Yeah, he's a solid player.
So did he,
I don't know if he's a halfback, though.
No, potentially not. But, look, South fans don't have anything to worry about.
No, look, they're going to be in the top 4. We'll talk about that anyway. But
they certainly will, spoiler alert.
Yes.
But, sticking with the Dragons, mate, it hurts me, but Hook, re-signed.
Yeah, look, without playing a game this year, it's a ballsy call.
It's risky, but I don't mind it.
Yeah, the one thing that Anthony Griffith can do, because he can't coach, but the one thing he can do is bring a good culture into a club. Yep. And yes, I know he's got some players in there that we probably wouldn't want to pick up, but the Dragons are turning it around. Their attitude last night, they were disciplined. They defended really, really well. We know it's only a trial. Everyone's rusty. There's some positive signs that we had them in the bottom 4, probably still going to be in the bottom 4, but they ain't going to be anywhere near the spoon.
Yeah, look, they didn't do anything to convince me otherwise. But speaking of culture, his first move since re-signing was to bring no to good guy and follower of many rules, Shane Flanagan into the club. As a consultant.
Is that a contingency plan for if Hook doesn't go well?
Look, potentially, yes. Now, he was the assistant coach a couple of years ago under a different regime. The Dragons definitely want him in there. And in terms of footballing knowledge, Flano knows his stuff. As long as he's not in a position to make any decisions of consequence, it'll be okay.
Make sure you check his emails. Sticking with the Dragons, Dan.
Again!
Jack Bird has knocked back a contract extension with them. Now, do you blame him?
No, I don't. He should be there to maximise himself and his earnings. But it's come out in the last few days, by the time you've seen this, that the Dragons may have pulled that offer.
Yeah, look, they were offering him $500,000, I believe, which is, I think that's a pretty fair deal for Jack Bird. He hasn't hit the form of 2016, 2017 Sharks.
Absolutely not.
Obviously he was instrumental to us winning that premiership. Went up to the Broncos, body deteriorated, come back from the Dragons, hasn't locked down a position.
No, but he's been much better, and he looks really good, and his Charity Shield performance was exceptional in the second row. think he might have found his spot.
He may have found his spot, and I think, for a mere $100,000, Jack, you're going to get $500,000 at the Dragons, your club that you grew up playing for. Now, I know he was a Knights supporter growing up, but you're a Dragons junior. Like, you've just got to... You take the money and run. What's he going to do now? Is he going to go to the Gold Coast or to the...
He's going to go to the Finns, mate.
He's going to go to the Finns under Wayne Bennett, where he didn't have much success.
Yeah, look, it didn't work under Wayne Bennett last time, but, both players have matured.
Yeah.
More Wayne Bennett than...
But look, it's very rare that Wayne Bennett gets it wrong. Very, very rare that Wayne Bennett gets it wrong. Can he ride it? Can he? I think the Jack Bird signing would just be because they need to get players in that squad.
That's fair call. Origin, premiership winner.
If they're giving him $600,000 though, again they're signing players willy nilly.
They are, yes. Look, there are other clubs that are in. He's been linked back to Cronulla.
He's been linked with the Eels.
Oh, look, I think Cronulla will say thanks but no thanks because there's not really a spot for him.
For $500,000, if Jack Bird wanted to come and play centre, maybe you entertain. We've got a centre spot open. Maybe you entertain it, but he would be the last call I make after I've spoken to literally every other centre in the competition.
Yeah, it works out really well. Terry.
Talk to me, Dan.
We've got a guest.
We do have a guest.
A special guest.
The Leadership, Culture and Mindset Coordinator for the St George Illawarra Dragons is joining us.
Look, good friend of the show. Superstar appearance recently on the Fins Up podcast. The best episode I've ever done, mainly because you weren't there. Matty, thanks for joining us, mate. Look, as we alluded to earlier, Anthony Griffin's just re-signed with the club. How important is it to bring the stability heading into 2022?
I think it's more than stability, Dan. It's also ability. And I think that, what people need to recognise is that, Anthony Griffin Hook's an outstanding head coach. And I understand people's assessment of last season and how people might wonder about that. But the team overachieved for a large part of the season. Obviously, there was a bit of an off-field issue that really impacted on that. So I think that the club not only has brought stability but ensured that we've got an amazing head coach leading the organisation.
Matty, the Dragons boast three of the brightest stars in the NRL, Sloan, Amone and Sullivan. What have you seen from them in the preseason to get the Dragons fans excited?
They've really matured, Dan. They came in as young kids, quite overwhelmed by the environment this time last year, but now they're used to what the NRL requires from them, and they've played a bit of NRL. They're still maturing. The NRL is a really tough game, and these guys are in their late teens, early 20s, and they're still maturing, and they play key positions. When you think about 6, 7 and 1, their positions are great responsibility, aren't they? And they're learning about not only bringing their talent to the team, but taking that responsibility on. So, they've still got a bit of development to go, but wow, a lot to be excited about.
Look, in the other end of things, Moses Mbai, Jaden Sewer and Aaron Woods, three very experienced players. Mate, were those signings brought to the club on purpose to bring experience to a young squad? Experience
is sometimes overstated, Dan. Definitely, Moses Mbai and Woodsy bring great experience, but they're talented as well. These guys have played, high level rep footy, so yeah, definitely they're there to bring experience, but they're also there to play good quality high level footy, and there's a really highly competitive vibe around the whole team at the moment about who's going to play and who's going to start. And, none of those guys that you just said there that have been brought in are definite starters. There's some real big internal competition for spots.
Matty, do us a favour. Tell us about your role with the change room.
Well, that's obviously a business that I've owned for quite some time now, and we work in the rehabilitation and preventative health, both well-being and injury, physical and psychological injury space. I don't get to work in it day to day, so I think all the staff are now finally sane, not having me around them all the time. But we've certainly moved a lot more into the preventative space, Dan, and having a lot of success. Doing stuff in corrective services where we've got amazing mentors like Anthony Minicello, Dr. Ali Walker, Mark Hughes, who is just such an inspiring individual, and a guy called Nick Beveridge as well, who was one of our Paralympians who represented Australia so well in the Paralympics. So, we've got a great group of mentors that are showing people of how to overcome adversity, but also how to lead in these really, challenging times. Everyone's had to, more than anyone, Dan, we've had to reshape the workplace, haven't we? And, and that's something that we've got a great deal of expertise in giving people support and strategies on how to do that.
Right here on Punch It Media, there's a new series of the Change Room podcast coming up with yourself and Anthony Minicello. Matty, how does it feel to be amongst the big boys on the channel like Terry and myself?
Oh, it's very humbling, mate. Very humbling. So excited. Now, Minnie and I just love doing the first series, and it's not as though we haven't wanted to come out with our second series. It's just been time availability for both of us again in these unusual times. So we've got some really amazing guests all lined up. International renowned authors and leaders in certain areas, people like Deepak Chopra and Joe Dispenza and some other really incredible authors. So it's something that we're really excited about doing. We've got the yes from everyone. I got to tie Minnie down. He's like that fullback. He's all over the place. I got to tie him down and get him in front of the screen.
Cheers, Matty. Always a pleasure having you on the show.
What is up, guys? Savs from the SuperCoach Experience here. I got an email asking to review your guys' teams. I don't know whose team is who, but I'm going to review it. Firstly, just want to say love the show, guys. You produce high quality stuff and I'm a massive fan. All right, first team we go into here. Reed Marnie and Chris Randall in the hooker area. I love them picks. I think Reed Marnie's in for a massive year, and Chris Randall, you can't go wrong with that. Stefano and Jared Royer-Hargraves in the front row. They'll go well this year, and I think they're pretty good picks. Pretty good value picks too. Penne and Bullymore on the bench, they're good cheapies that will come good and make some good money this year. Second row for Feeder, Martin and Wade Graham, they're really good options and really good mid-tier options that are gonna break out this season. For Feeder is obviously a gun, and I really like that second row. It's nice and strong. Ruben Cotter, Targo and Tepi Maroa on the bench. That is a solid bench. They're all gonna play, they're all gonna make money this year. In the halves, Mitch Moses, Lachlan Ilias, Jack Whiten and Junior Amone. I really love them picks. Mitch Moses is a nice little pod pick, and he could do anything this year, really. Whiten is a nice pod pick too, with a nice little draw to start the season. Whiten is one that always starts off with heaps of tries at the start of the season as well, so I kind of like that pick. Aitken, Mulatalo, Staggs and Coates in the centre wing, all high upside, all at a good price. You can't go wrong with that centre wing. Sawali, Taylor May and William Kai in the centres, I like it. Obviously your centres are for your money makers, so whoever's team is this, they just know what they're doing. Pappenhausen and Tedesco at the back, I mean, it's a no-brainer, isn't it? I've been set another side and there's no reserves there, so let's break this one down. McInnes at hooker, ugh, I hate that pick. Rudolph and Fanil Blake in the front row. I like Fanil Blake. Rudolph, Finucane for Feeder and Pangai in the second row. I think this person must be a Shark supporter. For Feeder, I like the pick. Finucane, very strange one. Nico Hines at halfback, obviously Shark supporter. Sean Johnson at 5'8". He played for the Sharks as well. Ruben Garrick, Zach Lomax, Katoni Staggs, Steve Crichton. This person doesn't know SuperCoach. Joey Manu at fullback. That'll do me. Cheers, guys. Thanks for sending me your teams for me to review. I'll keep an eye on the show. Keep an eye on our show, SE Experience. We do a podcast every week. Happy to come on one day, if need be. One of your co-hosts looks like Ben Menenti. Cheers, guys.
Dan,
Talk to me, Terry.
it's time for the top 4 countdown.
The top 4.
We're here.
Unlike
here.
last year where we fought, we agree.
We've almost agreed on all of it this year.
It's,
Almost. And a couple of text messages today. You talked me off a cliff on one team.
A little bit heated, but nothing too bad. Who we got in 4th place?
4th place, we have the Charity Shield runners-up, the South Sydney Rabbitohs.
That's the best they're going to do this year, mate.
Yeah, that's the best they're going to do. I think, look, they're going to...
They're a good side. They're a real good side.
They're going to beat a lot of teams this year. But they now, they've lost Jaden Sewer, they've lost Adam Reynolds. they've lost their key kicker, and it's just going to bring them back to the pack a little bit. They're going to lose some games they shouldn't. I don't know if they're going to be able to match it with Penrith now. Definitely, Melbourne have the opportunity to just blow them apart. We saw the Storm on the weekend against the Knights in atrocious conditions. They come up against the Rabbitohs team who played like that in the Charity Shield. It's all over.
It's not even going to be close. Look, most teams around them have got better or stayed the same.
Yeah.
South have lost their premiership winning halfback. Now, fans have said he's approaching the end of his career, which is
true. Yeah.
It's true, but you're putting a lot of stock in a young kid who, don't get me wrong, is super talented. But with youngsters comes inexperience and comes bad games. There will be a stretch there where they don't win a few games.
There is something that I'm really excited about now, though, and it's just the Cody Walker show. Last year, he was brilliant.
He was?
He was absolutely phenomenal. It's just a shame that a guy like Tom Turbo turned up.
Spot on. You had 40 try assists and you don't win the Dally M.
Yeah, it's
tough.
It's absolutely unbelievable, but we're going to get to see that. Latrell Mitchell comes back as well.
Yep, sure does.
Yeah, I think the Rabbitohs, they're definitely going to be top 4. I can't see them in the grand final this year.
No, me neither.
You and I picked the Penrith South grand final last year.
We did.
And we picked Penrith as the premiers. Spoiler alert. But I don't see South in the grand final this year.
No, me neither. Fourth is about where they sit. They're a very, very good side. Jai Arrow will step up into the spot. Colin Matangi is an absolute weapon.
He's a beast.
Mark Nichols is, gets younger every year instead of older. There's a lot to like, but their wing pairing on the right side, I believe, it's not quite what it was last year. And if you take a player like Adam Reynolds out, of course there's going to be a little bit of regression.
And there's also, you just mentioned that, the right side, Dane Gagai gone.
Exactly right.
You can't just replace a guy like Dane Gagai.
You can't. So
fourth for the Bunnies.
Fourth will do. I think they'd be happy enough with that. Anything can happen come finals time. They'll get a second bite because, spoiler alert, they will lose to the first place.
Yeah, they will lose the first.
Oh, you almost blew it.
Almost. In third, Dan, this is the only one that you and I needed to talk about. In third place, we have
the Melbourne Storm.
The Melbourne Storm. Now, your reasoning for this, was obviously about the players they lost. Watching them in the trial, the players they're bringing through, it's going to keep them around that top 4 spot.
Look, every single year we say they're going to go backwards, and every single year we have Crow with a side of Crow. So I'm not going to do it this year. I'm going to say they're going to finish third. They're very, very good. They're not as good as last year, and I believe the team we have second is considerably better this year than they were last year, which is frightening.
Yeah, look, for the Melbourne Storm, they've lost a lot of experience, and they're going to lose more next year. So this is probably
the year.
Yeah, but you say that, and then they've got just the players coming through, and people want to sign for them as well. But
they do.
Yeah, look, it's for mine. There's not going to be much between third place and second place.
I agree.
But yeah, look, I'm happy for the Storm to fall back a rung or two, but they lose Nico Hines, and on the weekend Nick Meaney was the best player on the park for him, not named Cam Munster.
I actually forgot that they had Nico Hines because he's so ingrained in the Sharks now. That's a very, very good point. But can we talk about the elephant in the room? Cam Munster's hair. What's doing?
Atrocious.
Still looks good though.
Yeah.
Number 2, Terry. Second place. I won the argument. Wasn't really an argument. But
we cuddled.
Yeah, we cuddled. It was all good.
But second place, we have the Sydney Roosters.
The Chookies, mate. The tricolours. 1-17. This side is good.
Very good. Luke Keary back. They didn't rush him last year, which was good. They knew they weren't going to win the premiership.
Yep.
Didn't rush him into it. Sam Walker got a whole year of controlling that team.
He's a freak.
Yeah, and then they found players like Adam Kieran to go and play in the centres, who was a washed-up halfback in New Zealand.
He's a freak too, yeah.
And then Drew Hutchison stepped up.
He's a freak.
They've got options everywhere. Joseph Sully is going to get that wing spot.
He certainly is. He's going to be an absolute killer this year. Joey Manu is just set to go ballistic. Yeah. I think this is the year that he announces himself as truly the best.
And also as well, I saw a really good discussion on a forum over the weekend. Teddy wants that number 1 spot back, not just being the number 1. He wants to be the number 1 player in the game again. Look,
that's a fair call. Last year he definitely slipped to number 2 or 3, which is pretty bloody good. But yeah, Tedesco's used to being the best player, undisputedly.
He's not only used to being the best player in the game, but he's used to being the best fullback in the game. And Tom is nipping at his heels.
He's there. Yeah. Look, Paul Momirovski for me is a brilliant signing because, as you mentioned in previous shows, he just wins.
Yeah, he wins as well. And also, what it does though is, it's unfortunate for a guy like Adam Kieran because he had a sensational year, but now he gets to go back and go and find another club to pick him up. But, you know, it's just the Roosters, we're talking all these depth players that they've got now. They're the second best side in the comp.
Yeah, I believe they are. And their superstars are just ridiculous. You know, Victor Radley's set to go that next level. You know, their back line is just try-scoring deluxe. Their back row is incredible. And every year you go, oh, Warrior Hargraves is like 140 now. He looked 25 last year. He was so good.
Yeah, he's a very, very good player as well. So, yeah, the Roosters number 2. It pains me to say it, and it pains me to say who I think the minor Premier is going to be.
Back to back, unfortunately. I don't want to say this either, but look, the Penny Panthers, mate, they're a pretty good side.
Yeah, look, they were the minor Premiers in 2020. I think they're going to get it again in 2022. I think they'll cruise the competition as well. They're that good. They didn't look good in the trial.
No, they looked atrocious. But look, people are saying that, you know, you take Cleary out and they're not the side. You take Turbo out, they're not the side. You take Nico out and we're not the same side. Good players do that.
Yeah, and look, laugh about him all you want, but Dylan Edwards didn't play either.
No, he didn't.
Good player.
He's way better than people give him credit for, in all honesty. Look, Jerome Luai, he barely did anything on the weekend too. You go into a game that doesn't really matter, and mentally, I mean, Parramatta wanted to win that game. They went in and said, we're playing the Premiers, we want to smash you. Penrith said, we can lose 150-0. It doesn't do anything to us, and I think that showed on the field.
And people are saying, is it alarm bells for Penrith that they, you know, lost the trial?
Yes.
But after beating Cronulla the week before so convincingly. No, Cronulla didn't win a trial in 2016.
No, it's not.
You don't remember trials.
Trials do not matter.
What you're going to remember is at the end of the year, not only Penrith going to have the minor premiership, but they're going to win the premiership as well.
Not looking forward to that, but I can't see anything else happening.
Good cattle out there at Penrith.
Good cattle.
Dan,
Talk to me, Terry.
it's time for some top sport tips.
Pressure's on, mate, because everything resets at the end of next week.
And we're on a tie ball game.
We are tied. I was hoping this wouldn't happen because the pressure's on. I'm confident, don't get me wrong, but next week, time to pay the piper.
Look, I thought I was absolutely going to go ahead of you this week and keep my one-up advantage. Wigan beat Huddersfield. Congratulations.
Thank you.
The Los Angeles Lakers blew a 13-point lead to go down to their arch rivals, the Clippers. Now, this is a game that Frank Vogel is going to look back on and go, why did I leave LeBron off so long, and why didn't I just put my good players on when the Clippers started getting some momentum?
Look, as a Lakers fan, it hurts, but ultimately this means far more to me than any sport in the world. What do you got this week, mate? No pressure.
I'm going to stick with basketball. I'm going to stick with basketball.
Pressure.
I'm going to go away from the NBA, though.
Ooh, okay.
I'm going to go with my boys, the Sydney Kings. They are rolling. They are the hottest team in the NBL at the moment. 5-game winning streak. Couple of absolute thrillers recently. They beat the Perth Wildcats. They went to Adelaide and beat the Adelaide 36ers. They're at home against second from the bottom Cairns Taipans on Sunday afternoon, 3 o'clock. I'll be there. I'm going to pick the Kings to cover the line. And Jalen Adams, 5+ assists.
Oh, feeling confident, mate. I like it.
Look, the Jalen Adams 5+ assists is just a little side bet for you, but the Kings are going to cover the line against the Taipans. They're going to cover it easily.
I like that. I'll be keeping an eye on. I'm going to jinx bet you because the pressure's on. And when it comes to pressure, mate, I'm going to go with what I know, and that's the cricket.
That's not a sport.
As I was saying before, I was really interrupted by this guy. Australia and Pakistan. First test, Friday evening, 7 o'clock. Will get me through a horrible rugby leagueless weekend. The Aussies are the outsiders. Are paying $2.58 to win the first test. Pakistan are about $2. Look, we haven't played there in about 20 years, so we haven't won there in 20 years. True story. But that $2.58 looks very, very good. I think Stevie Smith and Marnus Labuschagne are going to go ballistic with the bat. Hopefully we bat first. Get up 1,000, bowl them all out twice. Easy, and I'm celebrating next week.
Yeah, the way that the Australian cricket team dismantled my English side in the Ashes, it's not even fair. I can't believe that price for Australia to be, in that test situation there.
It's tasty.
Yeah, it is very juicy. I hope you lose, and I hope Australia lose.
Well, thank you very much, but not going to happen.
Gamble responsibly. Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to another episode of Rugby League Outlaws, brought to you by Punctured Media, our good friends, our great friends at Top Sport, Zero Fucks Clothing, and onelittlefootyfan.com.au. Don't forget to check out the website there for all your merchandise needs. Follow us on all our socials, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Drop us a comment. We'll respond to you when we can. We love getting trashed.
We do.
It's what we do. We laugh about it. And Dan, as always,
Rugby leagueless, baby. One more week, though. One more week.